Good evening and welcome to the Silicon Valley Entrepreneur, a series of conversations with startup founders and the investors who fund them. I'm Chris Gill, President and CEO of SVASE, the Silicon Valley Association of Startup Entrepreneurs. And this week we have two of the winners of one of our annual programs, Launch Silicon Valley, which we held earlier this week. So today I'm delighted to have with me Ankit Agarwal from I keep calling it Micello, but it's Micello, and Gus Malek-Madani from Green Platforms. So Ankit and Gus, thank you for coming along here. Very much appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris. It's great to be here.
So let's start off with you, Ankit. Can you tell me a little bit about what the product is and what it does?
Sure, Chris. Let me just tell you to you in just 5 words.
Okay.
Google Maps inside a building. Think about that for a sec. All the outdoor places in the world have been mapped out, but your shopping mall, your conference, the airport you went to last week, those maps are not there, and that's exactly what we do. We make indoor maps of all the places that people visit.
So when you say indoor maps, I mean, I can go to an airport and I see a map of the airport and everything. You're not talking about that. What's different about it?
We're actually going one level deeper. The maps that are available today are pictures, JPEGs, PDF files. We're actually creating the map architecture behind it and making maps that match the real world. So if you were to take a Micello map and overlay it on an outdoor map, it would fit perfectly. It's real maps with the real engineering behind it to make them usable by anybody.
So Ankit, how do you view these maps?
Well, we've made maps of over 1,000 places throughout the country, including shopping malls, IKEA, Fry's Electronics, all kinds of places. All of these maps are available through our iPhone application and our Android application, available in the respective application stores. So when you start the application, you can check out all the places that we've made maps of, and we're always adding more and more places every day.
Oh, I get it now. So if I download your app, and if I'm at an airport or something, I don't have to struggle around trying to find a map of the airport. I can just call it up on my phone.
Exactly. And of course, if you're looking for directions to get to the nearest gate, or you're looking to find the nearest Starbucks, you can get the entire airport on the palm of your hand.
Got it. Okay, thank you. So Gus, over to you now. You've got a very different application. Can you tell us something about that, please?
Sure. Our product is for data center efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
We facilitate access to storage servers, which is the slowest part of the entire IT system.
Mm-hmm.
Processors are fast, networking is fast, memory is fast. But when you try to access your data from a stored hard drive storage, that part is the slowest part. And vibration makes that worse. Our product takes away vibration from the storage servers, facilitating access of the data by up to 250%.
So how did you come across this as being a major problem? Because it's not something I've ever heard of before.
No, it's actually it's a discovery that, like most every discovery, it was coincidental.
Mm-hmm.
I had a very noisy desktop computer, and I've been in business of vibration control using carbon fiber composites for a long time. So I use one of my platforms that I've been using for high-end audio video
mm-hmm.
underneath this noisy desktop. And sure enough, access to data became a lot faster. Launching a new application became a lot faster, and the whole computer was a lot more quieter. So that was a big clue that, well, storage suffers from vibration, and if you remove vibration from storage, hard drives, they work a lot faster. And we did a bunch of internal testing, and from there we partnered up with Sun Microsystem and a system integrator called Q Associates. We validated vibration penalty, as we call it,
mm-hmm.
and effectiveness of our solution. And to a lot of people's surprise, this is huge. The amount of performance that we lose due to vibration is huge, and vibration is everywhere in data centers, from hard drive itself, from fans and power supply to room air conditioning to power distribution unit, adjacent rack and adjacent servers. It's everywhere. You can't avoid it. And drives are really sensitive to vibration, especially newer one, as their capacity has gone higher. The bits getting smaller, the tracks are getting closer to each other, and the entire media is very sensitive to small motions of vibration.
So just to clarify this, are we talking about if they use your racking system, are we talking about a 10% or 20% improvement in performance? What sort of level of performance improvement are we talking about?
The current product, metal racks, not only transmit vibration, they magnify it tremendously. They're like a drum.
Oh.
You're a musician. So in testing, we found out that you lose up to 2/3 of your performance to vibration. So by removing vibration from system, the performance can be improved by 250–60%. And right now we are in beta testing with several end users and manufacturers, validating our impact on performance in different applications, different environments.
Okay, that's a huge performance increase, gaining back all that lost performance that you probably didn't even know you were losing.
Exactly.
That's huge.
Exactly.
That's very big.
Especially when everybody's using commodity, same components.
Yep.
So by improving performance that much, it is huge. Yes.
Okay, that's really interesting, and we'll come back to that.
Great.
So that was a fortuitous way that you came across your you came across your problem and the solution to it.
Right.
How did you come across yours? Because it's not an obvious one.
Well, definitely there's a very interesting story behind it. I started Micello when I was in college.
Right.
And I was working at Clorox during the day, started Micello in the evenings to really explore how we can use mobile devices to solve innovative problems.
Mm-hmm.
So I built out a team, spent about 18 months learning the ropes, still was in college at the time, met with all the folks in the industry, went to events, and really learned mobile.
Okay.
And with all that knowledge, I then went to Disney World. And when I walked into Disney World, my family came up to me and gave me this really big printed map. And there I had an iPhone in my pocket. And I said, why can't I get Disney World on my phone and know exactly where to go, know exactly what the ride times are, in a sense, get everything about Disney World on my phone? And then I started looking around and I said, well, conferences and shopping malls and airports and museums, these are all places where people go and they need this information. And the indoor map seemed to be the most intuitive way to understand and connect with the venue that you're visiting. And with all the experience in mobile, said, hey, this is going to be just breathtaking and groundbreaking. We have to figure out a way to do all the maps quickly.
Okay, so you put together a team before you had found a problem and a solution you were going to go for. How did you pull together a team when you had no visions to what you were going to do yet?
Well, we actually, from the very beginning at Micello, our key objective was to use the mobile phone to give a person the right information at the right time.
Okay.
So before we got onto indoor maps, we had this vision of a mobile butler that would give you the right information. So the team that I put together was very agile and was able to pivot into this new opportunity. We did find other people who had the mapping and GPS and navigation experience and brought them in as well once we got into the indoor mapping space.
Okay, so how do you do indoor mapping? Because we've had a joke about it before now. I'm thinking of a person in a bicycle driving through your house and mapping it. How do you do this?
It's an amazing process. And that's what we spent over a year trying to figure out. Because it's easy to do one map, easy to do 10 maps. But how do you do 1,000 maps a month? How do you scale this to do literally any building anywhere in the world without ever visiting it? It's a very daunting problem. And what we figured out is a way to, in an almost assembly line process-like way, create maps. So we have our own, what we refer to as a map factory, which churns out maps every single day. We've literally solved it in a way so that anybody can make a map.
Okay, but there's obviously some secret stuff that you're not going to let out. So.
Well, the maps are just amazing. I think from our side, we really enjoy making the maps. We've defined the processes in a way where we can get all the information needed from publicly available sources. So whether it's knowing what stores are inside a shopping mall, knowing just what the internal might look like, but we need some input data from various sort of areas that we mash up together in our own map making process.
Okay, we'll come back to that. This again is really interesting. But Gus, back to your application here. So, you found you'd improved the performance of hard drives. You'd fortuitously found this through a situation with your own PC. How did you translate that into a product, versus the steel racking? And how did you find the team to help you do it?
Well, we started our entry product as a rack, 42U standard rack that you see in data centers,
right.
And servers are placed in it. And the reason we did that was because this was the most universal interface of any server with outside world.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't have to be specific to certain brand or certain manufacturer because they are different. And the team was very fortunate to be able to put a great team together. We have industry insiders as well as startup executives. We have a great team of marketing, business development, sales, and operation. So it's a startup. We just previewed our first product late last year,
mm-hmm.
and right now we're in beta phase, working with several partners in betaing our product, and we are expanding. There are a lot of opportunities in front of us, and we are seeking funding and business and beta partners. So things are going really well, and we're really busy.
And what's different? What are the different characteristics between your racking system and a steel racking system?
Sure. We're taking advantage of leading edge material technology and vibration dissipation techniques.
Mm-hmm.
We're using carbon fiber composites, which are really advanced material, perfect material for this application. They offer the best vibration dissipation characteristics.
Mm-hmm.
And we're building our rack with engineered plastics and composites. Metal racks, as I alluded earlier, not only transmit vibration, they really magnify vibration.
Okay.
And by doing a lot of simulation and other techniques, we've been able to come up with a very effective structure that takes any vibration coming from internal to server or external or
mm-hmm.
from building and dissipate it. It doesn't matter where it comes from. We dissipate vibration and create a very calm environment for the drive to work its best.
Okay. Again, I'm going to come back to that because there's some really interesting factors there, but I'm fascinated by the map factory that you have, Ankit. And are you creating all your maps from publicly available data, or are people now coming to you and asking you to do maps for them?
It goes both ways, actually. For us, we have a list of maps a mile long, and we're always making more and more maps.
Mm-hmm.
And we're always adding about 20, maybe 25 maps every day to our database of new places. And when somebody who's using our application suggests that we add a location, that immediately goes to the top of our list. So whatever people ask us to do first, we definitely try to do those ones first. Some of our customers also have asked us, can you do our maps first, or in the sense the maps that they're interested in.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a few department stores that we're working with that have given us some of their data that's not publicly available, but enough for us to make an indoor map of a department store. Think Lowe's or Home Depot
mm-hmm.
or Macy's,
mm-hmm.
along those lines. I'm also really glad that a company called Singapore Telecom, one of Asia's biggest mobile carriers, has also asked us to make the maps of the top 48 shopping malls in Singapore. Singapore is, in a sense, the world's capital for shopping. And Singtel actually just went live with a new application for the iPhone and Android that uses our maps. And it's all for indoor navigation and to show promotional information on those indoor maps.
Wow, that's a pretty big deal. So where do you see Micello growing to? And you've got a long way to go if you're trying to, are you trying to map every structure in the world in the same way that Google's trying to map every road in the world, or you know, the whole world? What's your growth plan?
For us, we're going after all the places that people visit, mainly the POIs, if you will. I was really excited when a congressman from Washington, D.C. sent us an email saying, can you make a map of Capitol Hill? Because everybody gets lost in Capitol Hill, looking for all the rooms, or museums like the Smithsonian, or shopping malls, stadiums. The list is really long,
right.
and we acknowledge that. But we're going as fast as we can to do as many maps as possible. Our process scales. We've proven it. We've done 1,000 maps in little over 4 months.
Right.
And we know we can get to 10, 20, 25,000 places within the next year.
Okay. And if I'm using a map on my phone, does it do left, right, straight ahead stuff that you get on a GPS system, or is it simply a map currently?
So today we have quite a few functions on the map. So when you load the map, it'll show you, it's very interactive. You touch a store, it changes color. You can personalize the map and, in a sense, highlight your favorite stores. One really cool feature that I used just last week is indoor navigation. I was at Valley Fair and I wanted directions to get to the Apple Store. So I touched on the Apple Store and said, route me. And it gave me a walking path, and then I turned on the compass and the map rotated so that it would line up with the real world.
Right.
And it was just so easy just to follow it along and know, oh, up ahead on the left is this store, yep, there it is on the map. And I just was able to find the Apple Store in just a few minutes. And now think about Valley Fair. It has 200 plus stores, which are always changing. It's always a different experience every time you go. But with a map, you can get exactly what you need.
This just makes so much sense. I go to Valley Fair rarely, but it had exactly that problem. You have to struggle to find one of their big maps. You struggle to relate it to the real world. Just doing what you've just described now makes so much sense. This is a terrific application. Absolutely terrific. And I think yours is too, Gus, because yours can have such a huge impact on big memory users. Sure. I can think of people, the big cloud people.
Yes, definitely.
Must be really interested in something like this. What savings could they be looking at if they utilized your solution for their racking?
Sure. Savings can be tremendous. A storage system nowadays, a rack full of storage, costs somewhere between $250,000 to about $1 million. And add to that the software to run all these servers, the cost can be a lot more than that.
Okay.
Twice as much. So some users, probably not majority, but most users buy storage hardware for performance. It's the reservoir is there, how much data you can store, but the connection to it is small. So they buy additional storage so they can get access to their data much faster. By facilitating access to data, a lot of hardware that's been purchased can be reduced and consolidated. And we are talking about huge amounts. IDC last year reported about $20 billion worth of hardware sold. Our product allows consolidation in data center, which is reducing not only the hardware, the electricity to run them, and electricity to run data centers is not trivial. Over $23 billion was spent last year in running data centers.
Wow.
So it's over 2% of all the electricity we use in the United States. It is estimated by 2020, data centers will be using the most amount of electricity in any industry, more than airlines energy. So it is a huge number, and it's getting bigger. The demand for storage is increasing tremendously, and that's leading storage manufacturer to put more hard drive in a rack full of storage. Nowadays, you can get 1 petabyte of storage in a rack. That's about 500-600 drives. All of them turning, working, putting out vibration. All of them needs to be cooled. Then you have, again, data center cooling system. So everything is adding to the vibration picture. And with the drives going to higher capacity, now we're looking at 2 to 3 terabytes of drives. Very soon, we'll see 5 to 10 terabytes of drives coming out in the same form factor. So they'll be more sensitive to vibration. And we are hoping that we can make the entire storage process a lot more efficient.
Sounds like you've got a good plan there. With the savings that you've got and the performance enhancements, it sounds like people should be knocking on your door and beating a path to you to want to get hold of your product.
Well, programs like this help a lot.
Okay. So, Ankit, back to you. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you decided to become an entrepreneur and do a startup? Because lots of people have the idea of it, but not that many people actually go ahead and do it. What's your background?
Being an entrepreneur is really difficult. That's just my starting point.
Okay.
But I did start Micello when I was in college. I was attending UC Davis, getting my bachelor's in chemical engineering. And right from the beginning, I was always working somewhere or another. I worked in Sacramento in a state senate's office. I worked all over campus in various clubs and groups. I worked in oil refineries. I worked in consumer products companies. But I always had this initiative to keep doing something beyond just school. And when I was working for Clorox, it just felt the right time. I was in the new business group at Clorox, working on new ideas there. And I said, well, let me try doing something on my own. And I cycled through, thought of something that was interesting, something that really got my attention. And I noticed that, mobile was the next big thing.
Right.
And just jumped right in. I think one of the best things about being a first-time entrepreneur, or in doing this for the first time, is that you don't know what you can't do. So I just jumped right in, and now it's sink or swim.
Okay, now this is quite an interesting thing because you weren't in the computer science stream, you weren't in the engineering stream, you were in a completely different stream. Right. So you made a big step outside of what one would have perceived as your comfort zone.
I think I was able to build an awesome team, and my main job at Micello is to keep the energy and the passion going, and really find the right people, give them an environment where we can all sort of go in the same direction, right? And I think that's what I love doing at Micello. I love being part of the map makers and being involved in doing something that I believe is very disruptive. Everybody today has seen location-based applications built on Google Maps, right? Find your nearest friend on Google Maps, find the nearest gas station on Google Maps. But we're creating this brand new real estate for advertising, for social content, for navigation, really to make a difference. And we get emails every day from people saying, hey, thank you for making this map. I was able to find what I was looking for. And that just keeps me going every day. It's doing something that I believe will have an impact on the world.
I'm fairly sure it will. As will your product, Gus. There's no question. You're going to save a ton of power. You're going to release a lot of power as well for the computing platforms. But tell us a little bit about your background. How did you get here? What was your history? What was your path to get to where you are now?
Actually, I was fortunate enough to follow my passion that I started in graduate school and be in the same line of work during the last 25 years. I'm a mechanical engineer by background, and in graduate school, my thesis project was in composites and the structure of composites. So after I graduated, I got a job in the same area, carbon fiber composites and mechanical engineering design. This is my third company actually. Okay. I started my first company 20 years ago, in biomedical, using carbon fiber composites in centrifuge rotors for biotech. And then about 8 years ago, I started a company in anti-vibration products for high-end audio video. And from there, Green Platform Corporation was born. And I was able to use the platform for high-end audio video, which suffers from vibration same way as hard drives, to investigate hard drive and computers' susceptibility to vibration, and testing, and continued with the product to mitigate vibration for this market.
Okay. Well, we're starting to head towards the close of the show. We're running out of time a little bit. Do you have any last words of advice for first-time entrepreneurs who are looking to make the leap into doing their first startup?
Sure. Don't be afraid of no's. That's being an entrepreneur means that you're going to hear no. There are going to be disappointments. There are going to be failures. Just get up, dust off the dirt, and keep going. Keep your focus. And also you need to be agile. It's not about the most powerful or intelligent. It's about being agile, being flexible, and being able to change directions if you need to.
Okay. And Ankit, how about you?
No, trust your team. I think when you have a group of people and you're working with them every day and you're all experiencing different parts, with the core being your business, you're all seeing the world around you. And really use your team to the full extent in building out your product, and trust your team blindly, because they're the people who will always have your back. Okay, that's something that's come across strongly from both of you, team, and I'd like to leave that as a message. So we're now out of time. I'd like to say thank you very much to my guests, Ankit and Gus. Pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
It's good night from the Silicon Valley Entrepreneur. See you again next month.